House defends Biden's claim that he, quote, shut Putin down. Roll tape.
Does he really think that he shut Vladimir Putin down?
He certainly has held Mr. Putin and Russia accountable for what they tried to do to Ukraine. I mean,
you just saw what happened with the children's hospital being hit the other day.
Brett, nobody's saying they're not still capable of attacking.
But he definitely didn't shut him down.
Nobody's saying they're not still capable of attacking Ukraine. But you can't tell me, by looking at what Mr. Putin said he was going to do 2 years ago, that he's accomplished any of his strategic goals. And that's what the president was talking about.
Okay, but you can concede that he didn't shut Vladimir Putin
everything
down.
Putin said he wanted to do to Ukraine, he hasn't done. Okay. Ukraine is still an independent, sovereign country, and that's not by accident, Brett. That's because of our leadership.
Okay, that's quite an answer, I'd say. Robert Greenway is with us. He's a defense expert and joins us now. Do you think Biden shut Putin down?
Well, thanks for having me on, Stuart. Look, there's no question that the largest land conflict since the Second World War started because of his lack of maintaining the deterrence that we've enjoyed for decades. And so he can't spin this in any other direction. You can't allow a fire to start and then claim credit for the response of the fire department. The insurance company doesn't want to hear it, and neither do the American people.
Are we in a forever war in Ukraine?
Look, until Russia begins to pay an economic price and we have a clear path to conflict termination, it appears this war of attrition will continue, which again belies the claim that he shut Putin down. And Russia's economy is growing at 3.5% GDP growth at 2023, which is a full percentage point greater than ours. Their trade balance is in the black to the tune of $120 billion. And they're reconstituting their military as a result of it. It does appear, unless we see a strategy from the president and real leadership, which is obviously in question, that this conflict will continue and it will have an incredible cost on the people of Ukraine and, frankly, the American taxpayer.
So it sounds like you want peace talks now, some kind of resolution now or very soon. What would that look like?
Look, I think to get to conflict termination, to enter negotiation on terms favorable to the United States and to NATO and to Kiev, I think we need to apply real, genuine economic pressure. They've got to feel the pain. They've got to pay a price for it. And second, there has to be a real, tangible military threat and a leader, frankly, in Washington that has the respect and fear in Moscow. We saw that under President Trump. We have not seen that under President Biden.
Is some new revelations about the extent of cybercrime affecting government made by new Public Works Minister Dean McPherson, who is a DA minister. He says that he suspects that cyber criminals have been working possibly with state officials and over the past 10 years have stolen 300 million rand from the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure through a number of repeated attacks. And he put this out on Wednesday morning in a statement saying that the department was a soft target to cyber attackers. And he promised that he and his deputy minister, Sihle Zikalala, were conducting assessments of the department's work. McPherson said that 30 department laptops had been seized by investigators and 3 senior management officials at the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure had been suspended, and an official in a middle management role has also been suspended. The most recent attack was in May of this year, where 24 million rand was stolen in one go. And apparently that, under the previous government, had begun an investigation by the Hawks and SAPS to look into what exactly had happened here, but that hasn't concluded yet. McPherson said it has become clear that the department has been a soft target and playground for over a 10-year period, and this should have been picked up a lot earlier. This money could have been spent on our infrastructure drive to improve the lives of South Africans. So, Michael, I mean, this is a good first story, I think, for the Department of Public Works, for the former opposition to kind of pick up on. But it's just, I think, revealing of how deep the rot is in so much of South Africa's government, is that you've got infiltration all over the place of criminal networks. And I mean, it seems here like there may have very well been people within the department who are actively aiding in the looting of funds.
Yeah, I think that sense of impunity has been profoundly overlooked for a long time. And just as you were speaking and describing the story with an expression of outrage in your face, 300 million, sort of using that kind of emphatic language, I think in 1996 we would have fallen over and just been absolutely flabbergasted at even the remote possibility of these kinds of sums being involved in theft on this sort of scale, or fraud on this sort of scale. And it's a tragedy that that in 2024, it's slightly ho-hum almost, isn't it? I mean, we've seen so many hundreds of millions
Not even close to our
disappearing.
biggest scandal.
Yeah. And